Looking at UVTV, motherfucker. I'm here to kick spiritual ass into this for my people. On God's twin, neon nigga for feather made, yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about how astrology has something to do with the body, and then I'm gonna talk about the overall perspective, aka the overall godly perspective of how to look at these things and these divine natures, and then the astronomy, aka the mind or the metaphysics behind it, and then talk about the anatomy, aka the conscious realm or the physical aspects of how this physically plays out and things of that nature, based upon looking at it from an overall perspective, aka looking at the celestial bodies in the atmosphere and things of that nature, in the 360 wheel, aka like the 12 houses and the 12 bodies and the 12 areas of life and the 12 zodiac signs, and how that relates to us and how we make up our own solar system and star clusters and Milky Ways and galaxies and things of that nature, and how this plays out in an overall perspective when we look at the actual overall atmosphere and things of that nature. And it's like a as above, so below type thing. And this can also affect when it comes to your health and things of that nature, and the different organs and the blood flow and the bloodstream and the circulation, and you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So for the most part, we're in a snake-like type being. So based upon the ecliptic and things of that nature, and the same way how is in, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like in that snake type formation, or the way our spines is built and things of that nature. We're kind of like a greater version of a snake, aka look at it as like our desires and things of that nature, right? So we're like in a serpent like being and things of that nature, like a domesticated snake like being. And then from an overall perspective, you could look at that as like a dragon or something like that, which is like a flying serpent. And we're trying to uh, make our desires, aka, you know what I'm saying, our lower animalistic beastly natures and things of that nature. We try to make it into a broader mind and things of that nature, to be something that's beyond a human, and uh, make it so we're not so domesticated and things of that nature, so we can actually crawl up our 2 feet to be more uh be something that's like broader than man and stuff like that. Even though we is humans and things of that nature, we still in a sense, you know what I'm saying, like we're like mammals. We're like the way we look at mammals and stuff like that, for the most part, we're like the broadest version of what a mammal is. So we still have animalistic natures, but we're trying to have something that's greater than this shape and form we in right now, aka us being in human vehicles and human vessels and stuff like that, for the most part. And like we're like the highest conscious beings when it comes to the animal kingdom from an overall perspective, but we're trying to be something that's greater than this mankind humanistic type of state of being, and things of that nature, right? So we look at the atmosphere from an overall perspective, from it being a flying snake. It's the same with how like in the Bible when they talk about like the snake who made Eve eat the apple and things of that nature. You could look at Adam like the masculine energy, and then you could look at um Eve like the feminine energy, and the whole thing in itself is basically like a big ass allegory. So the masculine would be the external, or like the light or the direction or the order, and then the feminine would be the encapsulation of that thought and idea into the feeling and emotion, or like the internal realm, or receiving something and things of that nature, for the most part. So from you comparing your Adams and Eves from a divine nature type of way, so your divine masculine, your divine feminine, and things of that nature, right? That's you trying to uh, find some type of fruit, bear some type of good fruit from us being like these walking trees, for the most part, walking snakes and things of that nature, and try to filter out our desires. And we're going to have some type of higher desire. And are these things going to grow based upon the seeds we planted, based upon our thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions? Or is it going to turn something that's kind of productive, that's not going to make us grow and try to make us esoterically be like a shrub? It's not going to be some big oak tree, or like, you know what I'm saying, big ass oak tree that has a whole bunch of branches out and expands and contracts and things of that nature. Is something that stays little as a shrub. And based upon you being the Garden of Eden, which is like an esoteric garden, aka all the seeds you planted and the thoughts, ideas, feelings, emotions that you actually actualize, and based upon your vision, how you look at it, you know what I'm saying, like the vision of how you look at these things, right? So like the fire, the passion, the intentions, the attention you put onto these things, you soaking inside that emotion and feeling, and then creating some type of thought, you know what I'm saying, like some thought idea that you want to actually communicate, and then you want to manifest and materialize in the physical and stuff like that, right? And then you having that esoteric gardening tool to actually cultivate something, create something for yourself, and things of that nature. All these type of energies, for the most part, it's just manifesting and materializing, right? So the minute you actually able to be in the energy of like being light as a dove, but wise as a serpent and things of that nature, you're able to be, you know what I'm saying? You're able to tread lightly as a spirit and things of that nature. So light as in weight, you having your own worldview, your own perspective, your own orb, your own sphere of reality, of some type of sense or feeling based upon your vision of how you want to create and cultivate something for yourself, and not getting too persuaded by things outside of yourself and your intuition, aka your inner spiral, and you expand and contract off of that based upon your own experiences and stuff like that, right? So, and then your experiences are just your spiritual experiments and stuff like that. So you're trying to expand these things for the most part. You're trying to expand into a broader thought. You're trying to expand to a broader feeling emotion. You're trying to expand to a broader mind for the most part, right? And then you know what I'm saying? And then from a spiritual perspective, you're gonna expand the space that you're in. You're gonna try to expand your inspiration. You're trying to expand your intuition. You kind of expand your spiral for the most part. So that's like you playing out these things in the physical based upon your actions and reactions and your divine feminine and divine masculine. So that's kind of like your ego, and then you being of service based upon your ego to do something that's of service, aka is serving others, not doing something that's self-serving based upon some type of ego or some bias or some expectation, and then make people worship you some type of god or deity and things of that nature. You're doing something out of your own volition, and then you're gonna get that praise anyway over time because you're being a walking emanation of a star from treading lightly as a spirit, aka light as in weight, based upon your information and your intuition, and then you didn't let the external realm basically like weigh you down. You ain't holding that emotional baggage and things of that nature. You was able to take your desires and make your desires be something that's more uplifting or something that's more expanded. You able to make it something that can be well rounded and well centered. You was able to be well rounded as a spirit, well rounded as a state of being, aka a state of mind and a mentality, and be strong and firm into that thing to hold your own substantiated way of how you look at the world and things of that nature, and then you're gonna be well rounded as an individual, aka a person in the physical for the most part. So look at this as someone who's a strong-willed person. You being a strong-willed person is you expanding your chakra wheels and stuff like that. So look at that as you not being indoctrinated. So from someone being indoctrinated, they're putting their attention towards a doctrine, so a form of language, like a book, someone else's perspective. It's not to say that you can't listen to other people and they can't add on to your perspective and stuff like that. But considering we all individuals and we all trying to be a one of a kind type of man beings for the most part, right? Because that's the reason that you in this human vessel and you have the same type of conscious mind you have right now, things of that nature. You was able to expand out of different bodies and shapes and forms based upon the experiences that you went through as a spirit, and then you was able to cultivate your own individual space to where you expanded into a human. So you did something that was beyond some type of plant or some type of cellular organism or something like that. You was able to do it beyond an animal, and then you was able to take your animalistic natures to expand into a human, into this type of conscious body based upon the experiences your soul went through, aka your individual space, your individual inspiration, your individuality, and the way you go about stuff and how you express yourself, and you leading that charge of having that passion, motivation, intention, and inspiration to do something that was beyond just you. You didn't get too stuck into an expectation, aka a thought, idea, feeling, emotion, or a desire, and you move from a downward type spiral to a well-rounded type spiral. So when it comes to you as a spirit, you was able to move up, down, left, right, right being righteous, left being left field, downward equal you know what I'm saying, depression, or a downward spiral, or bringing something down, aka being decentered, and then uplifting, aka looking at something optimistic, forward moving, meaning moving forward, you know what I'm saying, like doing something based upon prosperity, and initiating creating something new, or moving backwards, aka you could look at that as like, you know, regression, and like you can look at this as like regression and looking in the past and things of that nature, or holding on to something for the most part. You moving forward is you letting go of certain things and stuff like that. You should move forward with your life and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like all these type sayings for the most part, right? So I'm saying that to say, from you not being too indoctrinated, and you was able to expand these wheels, you was able to expand these chakra wheels and stuff like that. So that's like the seven chakras. So you could look at that as like your seven awarenesses, your seven eyeballs, your seven lights and stuff like that that emanate and stuff like that. The same way how you have your solar plexus and your goddamn your third eye chakra, your crown chakra, your throat chakra, right? Your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, which is like in the stomach and shit like that. Your sacral chakra, and then your root chakra, right? Now you can compare all these things the same way how you look at planets and stuff like that. These planetary, you know what I'm saying? These planetary systems and design interests, the same way how you could look at the solar system and the atmosphere based upon these heavenly bodies and stuff like that. So the sun and the moon, right? And then all these planetary systems to help you be aligned, aka that's like different sun pockets and stuff like that. And I already talked about sun pockets and shit like that, Aries to Pisces and stuff like that, because those different zodiac signs is just, or those different, you know what I'm saying, like what you call that shit? Like pockets of the sun and stuff like that. That's basically what it's describing from an overall perspective. So the same way how y'all look at like the seven planets and stuff like that, and like the main planets, aka like the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and shit like that. Look at that as like your seven chakras and stuff like that. And then the outer planets and things of that nature, right, are like the the super far out planets that they still have influence, but it kind of is like a lesser influence to the overall influence. So you can look at that as like how the root chakra has something to do with Mars, and then Pluto has something to do with the crown chakra. But Pluto is just Mars on a deep end for the most part. So it's not about it being up, down, left, right type thing. Like, don't look at it like the same way how you be seeing the Indian style type of charts and shit like that, where it be like the seven chakra wheels and like what where the each chakra point is located and things of that nature. And it'll be like it's like, oh, this one means this one, this one, this one, this one, and then the root chakra is the lower one, and then the crown chakra is a higher one and shit like that. It's gonna make you be confused based upon your awarenesses and stuff like that, right? You should look at it like an expansion contraction type thing for the most part. So it's not to say these chakra points don't mean anything and things of that nature, but you should just look at it like an overall perspective type thing. So it's like a situational type of thing. Sometimes you're gonna need to use your crown chakra, so sometimes you need to be serious. Sometimes you need to use your root chakra, so sometimes you need to be passionate or in your lower natures and things of that nature. And it's not even like something that's lower. It's just look at that as like, oh, when you get horny or some shit like that, or you really passionate, you really motivated, you really intentional, you really like in your survival type of instincts and things of that nature, right? Or like your heart chakra, you need to do something that's based upon some type of emotion and feeling, right? Or some type of self-reflection, or some type of thing based upon your comfort zone and things of that nature, right? Your solar plexus will have something to do with like the sun and things of that nature. So that's kind of like your actions and you know what I'm saying, your activity, your vitality, your like energy and shit like that. You're fucking you emitting your light and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And fucking shit cut out. But yeah, like looking at like the sun, like your conscious awareness and stuff like that, or like your actions, or like your enlightenment and things of that nature for the most part, or the way you act, or like your attitude and things of that nature for the most part. So based upon these different positions and stuff like that, right? Um, like the same way how I was describing these like chakras and things of that nature. So it's kind of like you have to look at it not like a higher or lower type thing, aka these are like your lower chakras and these are like your higher chakras. It's not like a higher lower type thing. It's more like a situational type thing to where you need to grab on certain chakras, aka certain wheels, aka certain like cycles, certain you know what I'm saying? Certain expansion, contraction type of energy and stuff like that. Certain awarenesses. Look at it more like that. Certain foresight, certain eyeballs, certain awarenesses. So these different things based upon like your organs and stuff like that, which I'm about to explain right now, that you give life to and that are vital to make you be you and stuff like that. Right, the same way you have your own solar system and things of that nature from an overall perspective, all the way down to the anatomy and stuff like that. You have to look at your cells and like your organs, aka kind of like your lungs and like your heart and like your stomach and like your prostate or like your genitals and things of that nature for the most part, or like your brain. You have to look at these things as different awarenesses and different chakras. You have to look at these things as different brains and things of that nature. The same way how you have an actual brain in your headspace, but you need everything else to function and things of that nature. So you have to look at all these things as different awarenesses, different brains, different like functions to make you live that are vital for you based upon your blood flow and stuff like that. And then the things that are in your blood, it adds on to your life force and things of that nature. It helps you be you in a sense. Well, it's not even just that. It's like it help you be you, but these things help run like your system. Literally, so it's the same way how we in this atmosphere right now, we in this universe right now, aka this unified verse, we on this planet right now, right? Um, and we're like sentient beings and things of that nature, and we help run this world. Okay, the same way how we try to have a government and things of that nature to govern the world or govern a certain society and govern our cultures and govern like everything and shit like that. You have to look at yourself like that for the most part. So once you start looking at yourself like that, like, oh, I'm governing my body and shit like that because you want to be alive, right? So the more you want to be alive and the more you use your awarenesses, the more you're not trying to be indoctrinated, the more you try to expand and contract as a spirit, aka expand and contract in your mind, and then expanding your experiences in the physical, and then it's going to add into your individual space, aka your soul and stuff like that, right? From you expanding your spirit, and then your spirit meaning multiple spaces. So aka look at that as Venn diagramming between different minds, aka different perspectives or different ways of looking at the world. So that's like you taking on different sentience and stuff like that, or how it is to be in that. It don't even got to be sentient. It can be sentience and non-sentient sentience for the most part. But it's you trying to compare and contrast like the animism, right? The symbolism, the ritual. You trying to create your own magic out of it, your own like your own method to your own madness and stuff like that. Your own you know what I'm saying? Like your own inspiration, your own alchemy and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, like you like it's like you actually playing out the characteristics of being a sorcerer, aka you being a source. People can look at you for enlightenment. People can look at you for a source of information. People can look at you for how to do something based upon your own natural gifts and talents and stuff like that from your individuality and how you choose to be yourself based upon what you pay attention to and what you indulge in based upon your own thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions and your own individuality and how you express yourself. So people will rather go to you for that based upon your skill set, based upon some type of creativity, artistic merit, aka some type of skill, and your imagination, because it's the way that you do it. So it's someone seeing a mental template, aka a walking emanation or a walking star, and things of that nature of how you choose to be yourself and stuff like that. And then people gonna see the relatability in that, and if it's in sync from an overall perspective based upon the different shifts and things of that nature, right? And you can be in your own little pocket from an overall pocket and make your own type of fruit and do it at your own volition instead of doing some synthetic type version and things of that nature. AKA you need other things to be put in front of you first. AKA that's like taking the external world, but you're internalizing it because you're going based upon the expectation of how you want other people to conduct, how you want to make your magic, AKA make your fruit and things of that nature. So look at that as you letting other people dictate your individuality too much, and you're doing too much people pleasing for the most part, and not trying to put yourself first and stuff like that, right? You kind of going against you trying to govern yourself. So the same way how we have an overall government and we have different bodies of the government, aka branches and stuff like that. Look at you as being a walking star or a walking tree, and then you gonna extend your branches out for the most part, and you have different bodies, aka different eyeballs, different awarenesses, different, you know what I'm saying, different brains, different organs to help you live. So if you care about your life, you want to keep on giving life to it. You want to keep on giving sentience. So from an overall perspective, a metaphysical to the physical and stuff like that, that's all that means for the most part. So I had to explain all that to get you in the mindset of what the fuck I'm talking about for the most part. Now, me explaining each and every sign, that's a whole different fucking video for the most part. But I'm gonna explain each little pocket for the most part. So your headspace, right, it will be like Aries type of energy. So this is your first house. Your headspace would be the first house, and this will be Aries, right? Now, the Taurus area or the second house, this area of the body would be like your neck and shit. It would be like your neck or like your throat chakra or some shit like that, right? The third house or like Gemini would be like your shoulders and shit. And then keep in mind, right? Keep in mind for all these different things. Let's say you was going through health issues and stuff like that, right? And then you want to like go into detail of that health issue. Look at your natal chart and then look at your sign houses and stuff like that, and what sign you have in each of these houses, and what signs back and support each of these different signs and stuff like that, right? And then the minute you look into um your natal chart and the aspects and stuff like that and the alignments and the nerve muscle connectors and all that type shit, for the most part you'll start to understand and get into the detail of why you have a health problem in the first place. So if it's going in reverse, aka you're going through a lot of pain or chronic pain, or it's not functioning and working and or like certain blood flow and going to certain areas and stuff like that in that little pocket, that's the reason why, based upon some type of exercise from a mental perspective, aka mental exercising, right? And um from also from a physical type perspective. So it's based upon you probably doing something counterproductive in a mindset type of way, and then it's resulting into certain things in the physical. So it's the same way how people be like, your mental health is gonna start affecting your physical well-being. It's the same type of way, like some Virgo type of energy. They'll worry so much about some shit and they be so nerve-wracking. They nerves and you know what I'm saying? Like they nerves and their organs stop not working properly and shit like that, and they start getting sick as fuck all of a sudden. And certain organs start working because they worrying so much and they look into the details so much, aka the devil's in the detail, and they doing something that's so counterproductive based upon them caring about the external world so much, and they you know what I'm saying, they go into analysis paralysis and stuff like that, and they be into that expectation of compartmentalizing. So they want things to go in some type of pattern, routine, and schedule and routine that have something that going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like nerve-wracking shit. They start stressing themselves out to the point to where they they overthink so much, they actually make their nerves so bad to the point to where their organs not working properly. This is literally what I'm explaining right now. It's not just Virgos. It could be any sign, but you get what I'm trying to say. All right, so the fourth house would be like your heart area. Your fifth house, aka Leo area, would be like your stomach, your upper stomach. The lower the sixth house would be like your navel area and your nerves, your nervous system. But it will be your navel area, your lower stomach, and your nervous system. The seventh house will be like um it will be like your tailbone and shit like that. It will be like your tailbone, and you know what I'm saying, like your halfway point. So the shit that help you bend backwards and forwards and stuff like that. AKA you could be doing some people pleasing Libra type energy and stuff like that. Whole different video. I ain't gonna explain that right now, but I'm just trying to simplify it. And then The eighth house will be like the dick and pussy ovaries type area. You know what I'm saying? Like your genitals and shit. Your ninth house will be Sagittarius, and that'll be your thighs. Your 10th house will be Capricorn, and that'll be your knees. You know what I'm saying? That'll be your knees and shit. Your 11th house will be like your shins, and your calf muscles right here. These back leg muscles and shit like that. Your back, you know what I'm saying? Like your shin, your back leg muscles, all that, calves and shit, like all that. And then the 12th house will be like your feet. 12th house will be like your feet. And then all the organs for like, you know what I'm saying? Like all the organs, locations and stuff like that of what I just said, it'll also count for that too, for the most part. That's why when it comes to like that vitality and like your vital organs always be above the horizon, aka your first through sixth house, aka Aries through Virgo. Your vital organs from above the horizon matter the most, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like so anything above the horizon. So anything above your stomach be like vital organs. So it'd be important to give life to these things for the most part. Like in these areas, from the first to the sixth house, it's very important. Aries to, I mean, the first house to the sixth house, or Aries to Virgo, however you want to take it, type shit. It's very important to have these things vital to keep yourself alive for you know what I'm saying, from like an overall perspective, from like a mind state type of way of how you look at it and stuff like that. But yeah,